Hi, this is Majin, and I thought I'd take a couple moments to take a look at the big Marvel crossover that's happening, which is the Avengers versus X-Men battle books. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is basically going to be the fans' dream of a battle, because what you're having is the Avengers and the X-Men fighting, and you also have some X-Men who are on the Avengers, so then it's like, well, which side are they going to pick? And on top of that, you're having the return of potentially Jean Grey or the Phoenix, and there's also the Scarlet Witch storyline that looks like it's going to be somehow thrown in here. Now, this originally started with the XMen comics, where Cable comes back from the dead, and he says that basically the future of the world is going to be destroyed if the Avengers continue to live. And which is actually what, in a way, what Wonder Woman is saying, that the Avengers are going to be the cause of tremendous evil later on. And anyways, what he does is he goes around and he takes out Avengers. His job is, I must destroy the Avengers. And from that storyline, it's going to springboard into the Avengers versus X-Men. The problem that I have here is this. You have Cable. Cable is supposed to be this badass, dark, anti-hero type person who's kind of, I think, driven crazy because he realizes that, I'm supposed to protect Hope. I promised to, protect her. And because of the Avengers, Hope is dead, and then there's no future. So, instead of doing something logical, like kill the actual Avengers, like take them permanently out to prevent them from ever forming or continue to keep up adventuring, what he does is he takes out Captain America and imprisons him. He takes out Iron Man and imprisons him. And I'm like, that doesn't solve anything, because if you imprison them, they have a chance to escape. And, here's a guy who carries around a gun, and he doesn't seem to understand that in order to take somebody out, you have to put the gun to their head and shoot them and kill them. But I understand if you kill the Avengers now, then there's no more Avengers books. So, and there's tremendous loss of sales. So I understand that part of it. But I'm also looking at it from a logical story point, where it does not make sense whatsoever. So anyways, from this, what we're going to see is the big Avengers versus X-Men fight. Now, what I am thankful for is we're only going to get one crossover, and that's the AVX Versus book. Now, what that is, it's basically going to be a fight book, where they're going to team up two people, and they're going to fight. So, for an example, there'll be the Thor versus maybe Storm or maybe Colossus, and there's going to be most likely the Thing versus Namor battle. We're probably going to see maybe Cyclops and Cap, and there'll be other matchups like that. So that's where that's where the throwdown is going to be. Now, from my understanding, if that's where all the main big fanboy battles are going to take place, then the Avengers vs. X-Men title will most likely then have all of the more story-driven content. And I kind of like and I don't like this at the same time, because with me, part of my problem with these major books is sometimes you don't get enough action, and then other times you're not getting enough story. So it has this really weird balance issue. Now, if you could tell the story over a longer period of time, like maybe a year or 2 years, actually a year to 2 years is a bad example. Maybe if you could tell the story over 52 issues, then you can actually develop a tremendous story with lots of action, build things up beautifully, and it would be a work of art. But because these things are usually over and done maybe in 6 issues, 9 issues, 12 issues, you don't even get close to what you could potentially get. You get a fraction of it. So splitting it into 2 like that, I kind of appreciate. And I also am appreciating the fact that they don't have, for an example, the Wolverine versus Red Hulk crossover series, where it's 4 issues of that fight, and then the 4 issues of Cyclops versus Captain America, and then you end up having to buy an extra 50 issues just to get all these side battles. So I am very thankful for that. Now, while Marvel will say that you don't obviously have to buy both books to get the full impact, you really will in this case, because while you're going to get story in Avengers vs. X-Men, you're going to lose what every fanboy wants, and that's the fight. Now, my guess is, let's say for an example, Namor fights Thing. You can't have one of these characters lose and suddenly not appear in this core title. That wouldn't make sense to the person who's just reading the core. So most likely what's going to happen is you're going to see a panel or two to show the result of what happened, or something to that effect. So this way the casual reader who just wants the main story will understand, oh, that character got taken out by so-and-so. So, in a sense, you don't necessarily need it, but I think you really probably will miss out on a lot of it. I think also with the Avengers versus X-Men battle, or the AVX versus book, it's really going to be the fanboy's dream, and then you're going to see a lot of people going, look at, this is my hero, I told you my guy's the best, and they're going to be pounding their chest, and you're going to have a bunch of other people go, that's bullshit, because there's no way that person would have lost. And, in some cases I can really see that happen. It can go either way. In other cases, I'm going, it could be an interesting battle, but there's no way so-and-so could have won. An example could be Storm versus Thor. Now, they mentioned that could be a possibility where Storm and Thor were going to fight. And while Storm does have power over the weather, Thor's a thunder god, He should be able to destroy Thor. Thor should be able to destroy Storm pretty easily. Something that would be more interesting, maybe, would be the Juggernaut Colossus battle. But again, Thor is a thunder god. He should be able to beat Colossus pretty easily. All he's got to do is just keep pounding away, and eventually he'll fall. So I'm kind of curious to see where that battle would go. If they really wanted to do a tremendous job with this book and take it to a whole new level, you have Black Widow. Black Widow could just kill people from a distance, Same with Wolverine. Wolverine could just wreak havoc with some of these characters and take them out permanently, but, we're never going to see anything remotely like that. Which is actually a shame. I kind of wish that they could do this in a fantasy universe, like an alternate fantasy universe, where they can really give us what would really happen versus what we need to do to preserve sales for the next, 1,000 years type thing. Personally, I think overall this is actually going to be a really good thing for the retail market. I don't know if you guys seen it, but Marvel's going to the retail outlets and saying, pick a side, do you choose the Avengers or do you choose the X-Men? Then based on what the store picks, then what happens is they start sending them promotional items for that side. And I think something like that really is going to generate a lot of chatter. It should, if a store is on top of things, it should generate lots of talk in the store. And once this talk in the store happens, then that's going to generate interest, that's going to generate excitement, and that should boost up sales. Should. And then, of course, from there, you're going to hopefully see the forum talk, and once you see forum talk, again, people are talking about it, and then that could lead somebody who maybe lived in a cave, who didn't know what was going on, suddenly is going to notice it. So overall, I think what they're doing is a positive thing to generate sales, but again, at the same time, what I'm seeing is this is just a story that's just designed to generate sales, and it really isn't really something that was necessary. And by that I mean, it's this. Let me see here. Let me go back to this here. What we have here is two basic storylines that are occurring. One is you have the Scarlet Witch storyline from the Young Avengers story that's going on now, where the Scarlet Witch is alive and then she comes back. And what you have is the Young Avengers who want to protect her, and you have the X-Men who said this is X-Men business and they want to take her, specifically Wolverine wanting to kill her, and then you have the Avengers going, this is Avenger business, we need to take care of her. And you have the Hope storyline, which is basically the Phoenix Force coming back and wanting to possess her, and the X-Men saying, this is our business, we need to take her, we need to prepare her for this and protect her. Make sure we don't get another Phoenix, or Dark Phoenix. And then you have the Avengers going, this is a powerful entity that's going to destroy the world, and we need to take care of her and imprison her. Now, the thing that's kind of faulty with this part is this. Let's just assume the Avengers, the X-Men go, okay, you know, Cap, you're right. This is your problem. We're going to let you take care of Hope and take her away from us and imprison her. That wouldn't stop the Phoenix Force. I don't think the Avengers fully understand what the Phoenix Force really is. And I don't think Tony could come up with anything that could properly shield Hope from that ever occurring. And then once Hope became the Phoenix, then all hell would break loose. I think, you know, what you would have is a sense of abandonment, especially, you know, with her feelings about what happened with Cable, and now the mutant betrayal. That would wreak havoc upon everything. Then what you have on the other hand here is you have the Scarlet Witch side, who is an unstable mind, and then you have her with a tremendous power that could literally destroy everything. And she pretty much decimated the mutant population. And on this side, what you have is, technically, the X-Men are correct. You need to kill this person, because there is absolutely nothing you can do to stop her from doing the same thing. And you can almost argue the same thing with Hope. You have to destroy Hope because of what she could potentially do. But part of me is thinking, in a way, it's possible that you could protect her in the sense of getting her prepared and guiding her on how to use the power. But at the same time, I'm going, this is the Phoenix Force. You know, there's nothing you can do to protect her. There's nothing you can do to prepare her. That's it. If she becomes Phoenix, I understand that they have the Rachel Summers Phoenix, but that's not quite the same Phoenix. That's technically the Jean Grey Dark Phoenix, and that's what Hope could easily become. And you really pretty much have to, technically I think you pretty much have to eliminate both characters. There's no such thing as imprisonment, because eventually, like I said, they'll get out, and once they get out, that's it. That's probably not going to be a very popular option, you know, killing them both, but that's what I think you pretty much have to do. It's for the safety of the universe, the safety of MutantCon, the safety of everything. Their powers are going to become too powerful. But, of course, we'll never see that. Now, ultimately, with this fight here, I know they're going to be saying big changes are going to occur and blah, blah, blah. And technically, there will be changes. You're going to have to see a resolution to Hope. Will Hope be imprisoned by the Avengers? Will Hope be saved, you know, quote unquote, by the X-Men? My guess is Hope will probably be saved by the X-Men. She's going to probably get the Phoenix power somehow, and that will kick off a new storyline. If she gets captured by the Avengers and imprisoned and actually somehow magically shielded from the Phoenix Force, then the story ends. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to have the X-Men go round 2 and fight the Avengers again? Well, you could do that, then now you became redundant, and all of your big hype of the big fights is, you know, people already know what happened, so I don't think that's going to occur. In terms of the Scarlet Witch, my guess is she's going to go back with the Avengers, and I'm not sure if they were going to actually make her a recurring character again. Part of me thinks that it'd probably be smart to slowly reintroduce her back into the storylines, because I'm thinking if they throw her right in the middle of battle again, who knows what could happen. But my guess is, like I said, she's going to go back to the Avengers. Cable, I don't know what's going to happen with Cable. Cable's stirring up trouble, and part of me also sees maybe Hope going with Cable. But if she did that, then that would mean the end of Hope versus Hope and the Generation Hope. But I'm also thinking maybe Cable might go into that book, just as a check and a balance, but probably the best thing for Cable to do is just disappear again for a while because of the trouble he stirred. Now, also what we have here is a tremendous amount of creative teams that are on this book. You know, like Bendis and Aaron, and you have Kubert, and just tons of talent. Part of me likes to see it, just in the sense of, wow, I can see different interpretations of the characters, and this is my greatest dream that all these great people are doing it. The other part of me is going, this is really inconsistent. For me, if I'm reading a storyline, I want to see the same writer and I want to see the same artist from start to finish. I want to see the same vision. I don't want to see maybe, let's say, one day Cap with a big star in his chest, another time it's a little bit smaller, Cap with actual scale, like chain scale things, another Cap with just lines that make it look like it. You know, I don't like that kind of radical changes from issue to issue. It's hard to get with the flow and get into that, immerse yourself into that world. So part of me does not like that at all. And I really do wish what they just did was they said, Aaron, go ahead and write it, or Bendis, go ahead and write it. You know, heck, even Fraction, write it. It's just somebody. You know, somebody take it and go with it. Because, like, for an example, if I don't like, let's say, Hickman at all, I hate Hickman, then that issue to me is bad. Let's say I don't like JR's art, then it's like, that issue to me is dead. You know what I mean? I'm not going to appreciate it. I'm going to be like, oh, God, this is I don't know about this. This art is horrible. I'm not going to read it. You know what I mean? It's like you're instead of enjoying the book, you're going to be against the book. And you're going to wish it was the other guy who wrote it or drew it. So I'm like, I don't like this mix up here. And I have a feeling they did this so this way they can have, not only are they going to hype it up as the big thing, look how many creative juices we have on this book, but it's also so this way one person doesn't shoulder the burden and have his other book suffer. It's to spread the wealth of the art and the writing duties, and this way everybody else can continue to do their normal output. You know, like Hickman can still do all of his books, Fraction can still do his books, and Bendis can still do all of his type thing. So that's my guess. Overall, I think this is going to be good. You know, I think this is going to be just like every other Marvel crossover that we've seen. I think what we're going to see is big hype, and along the way, we're going to see some safe storytelling, safe battles, in the sense of they're not going to challenge it. I don't think we're going to see anything risky. And the end, I think there will be some changes, but I don't think there might be a surprise or two, but my guess is it's going to end almost in I don't want to say a draw, but it's going to end where both sides can walk away. You know, it's definitely not going to be a one-sided smashdown. It's going to be, okay, you go your way, and I go up my way. And we'll call it a day, and then we'll meet again as friends on the next big conflict. I think if Wolverine and Storm stay on the Avengers teams when all of this nonsense is done, I think you might see just a little bit of tension, maybe for that next issue, and then everything's going to be washed away. Because, you know, if you have, I just don't see how those two characters can stay on those teams and have, let's say, Wolverine take out Hawkeye, let's say, or Wolverine taking out Spider-Man, and then yet they still have to serve on the same team. I don't know how that's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of tension. And again, if you were to tell a story over a long period of time, that would work. That could be an amazing story. But because comic books are done in short cycles, you can't develop a storyline with characters and deeper plots, deeper relationships. Everything has to be very flashcardy, whoosh, look at that, we did this, whoosh, look at that, we did that. And I think that's where it's going to suffer. That's where mostly why American comic books suffer so much. because everything has to be so fast. We have to give it to you, end it within so many issues, so that way we can trade it and then send it out to the store and then work on our next thing. But, you know, we keep buying it, so it's our fault for it to happen. Anyways, that's my my overview of Avengers vs. X-Men. I think some mashups are going to be really good. I mean, I'm going to be stupid. I'm going to buy both books, and I'm not really gonna. I don't know if I'm going to say I'm going to pick a side. If I at least knew what the mashups beforehand, then I would go, hey, let's do a video to see who, and I would pick the potential winners, and we'll see how I pick. But without even knowing what's what, you know, it's kind of pointless. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. I would really like to know what your guys' opinions are on this book. Who do you think is going to win? Like I said, I think it's going to end more in a neutral setting. You might see maybe the Avengers maybe getting an upper hand. Maybe you might see the X-Men getting slightly upper hand. But it's going to end in such a way where both sides can walk away without losing too much face. There'll be bruised egos along the way, but nothing's going to be permanently damaged, because I guarantee you the next big thing that occurs where they all have to merge, they'll fight again. They'll be together. They'll be friends. And then you'll see them at the company softball game. Anyways, that's all for now. If you have comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down. Let me know what you think. And I'll have more reviews later, so until next time.